Good afternoon, everybody. This is Eric Bunker, a meteorologist at National Weather Service in Tallahassee, giving a brief overview of Tropical Storm Fred. So Fred has become a little bit better organized. It now has sustained winds of around 40 miles per hour. Tropical storm warnings are in effect from the Wakulla-Jefferson County line westward to Navarre Beach. A storm surge warning is in effect from Indian Pass to Steinhatchee. Fred is expected to move northwest and then north, making landfall along the northern Gulf Coast sometime on Monday evening. The threat for wind, rain, and surge impacts in our region have all increased compared to yesterday now that Fred has become slightly more organized than it was. There's a lot more confidence in these impacts across our region now compared to yesterday as well. Overall, the threat for sustained tropical storm force winds for points along the Florida Panhandle and the western Florida Big Bend have increased from yesterday. For points in South Walton and Coastal Bay County, there's now a 6 in 10 chance of experiencing sustained tropical storm force winds across for points in those regions. And then winds could occur as soon as early Monday morning across these areas as we start to see some outer bands starting to move into our area. Overall, there is a potential for some storm surge. We're now expecting around 2 to 4 feet of storm surge from Indian Pass to the Steinhatchee River, and then 1 to 3 feet of surge is expected elsewhere along the coast, especially from the Alabama-Florida border all the way to Indian Pass, and then from Steinhatchee down to Chassahowitzka. Now, water levels could begin to increase as soon as Sunday evening in Apalachee Bay. Water levels in the Florida Panhandle could begin to increase as early as Monday morning. Our biggest threat area, though, however, is across Apalachee Bay with the shallow water there being pushed inland. So that's why we do have that 2 to 4 feet across this area. Based on the latest forecast, we are looking at around 4 to 8 inches as a possibility across much of North Florida with isolated mounts near 12 inches. So you can see in this graphic on the left that we do have some of those higher totals, mainly along the coastal regions, but with some training and bands of in the bands associated with Fred, we could see some of those higher totals creep into some inland areas across tomorrow and going into through Tuesday night. So therefore, we have issued a flood watch. It's in effect through Tuesday afternoon, and you can see that in these outlined green area, basically extending from Wakulla, Leon counties up into southwest Georgia, and then down into southeast Alabama and the rest of the Florida Panhandle. So once again, some of these totals are expected to be, quite decent with 4 to 8 inches, a possibility with some higher totals nearing 12 inches. Within our region, on the eastern side of Fred, there is the possibility for some tornadoes, especially in this darker green shading here. And that's going to be mostly on Monday as we kind of get into that eastern side of Fred as it starts to make landfall. So that's where we're going to see some of those greater impacts or that potential for some tornadoes across our area. So that pretty much extends for that same area across southwest Georgia, extending from Jefferson County and westward across the Florida Panhandle and in southeast Alabama. So some key takeaways here. The center of Tropical Storm Fred has reformed. It's now visible on the satellite imagery, and we can are now tracking it. And the storm now has maximum sustained winds of 40 miles per hour. There are tropical storm warnings now in effect west of the Wakulla-Jefferson County line and to Navarre. Fred will move northwest and then north toward a landfall in Florida Panhandle Monday evening. And then wind, heavy rain, and tornadoes are all possible along and to the east of the track of Fred. And once again, a flash flood watch is in effect for much of the region, and a storm surge of 2 to 4 feet is expected in Apalachee Bay as Fred nears the coast.